You just another fake. You just another snake. You just another fake. There goes another one. Snake. Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking handler. But can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking handler. But can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? 20%? No, that ain't enough. Them bitches wanna take all of your stuff. They living hype, but you living rough. They life getting better, and yours is more tough. Are you deaf, bitch? I told you I'm a free agent. You ain't gon' get rich while I can barely pay rent. You make it, they take it, they fake it, can't shake it. It's such a bad habit, the industry just can't break it. Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking handler. But can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking handler. But can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle business? I ain't signing on that dotted line. This shit ain't solid, and bitch, I ain't blind. I ain't signing your contract. No permission to stick a knife in my back. Industry back dope shit got me feeling pressure. No record, put that on the record. You spit it, they bit it, you lit it, they hit it. I just hope the motherfucking fakers would quit it. You just another fake. You just another snake. You just another fake.
You gotta go over to YouTube now.
You
We're on YouTube right now.
That's all you're all about. Wanna elevate your status. That's why you coming at us. It's up a D, it's stuck, bitch, you out of luck. You been running them up. What the fuck? Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking handler. But can they handle business? Can they handle business? Can they handle
We're on YouTube and we on Twitch.
Everyone's a motherfucking manager, and everyone's a motherfucking
I told you, every time they think that they're gonna take it down, I'm gonna take it up a notch.
Can they handle business? Can they handle business? You just another fake. You just another snake. You just another fake. There goes another one. Snake.
You guys might be asking, what is this about? What's going on, right? So I want to take a deeper dive into this. I want to look into the depths of this Chrisean thing, right? Chrisean's saying some stuff, and because we're going to have more people coming out like this, whether you want to believe it or not, more people are going to be going through this. More people are going to be experiencing this. If you think about it, more people are going to be experiencing this. Whatever depths, whatever levels of this it is, we should explore all of them. So let's go back to what she said, because she's bringing it up again, this whole John the Baptist thing. She's referring to, Jonathan as John the Baptist, right? So let's listen to this again, YouTube.
First, yes, you're a great provider, but so when we're on this earth as a child of God, let me just talk. On this earth, as a child of God, everybody has people assigned to them. Like, I was assigned to Blue, and he's assigned to me, type of shit. That's how I really feel. To my dreams be so like.
Now, now this one is old, right? This one is what she said previously, right? But let's bring up one that she's bringing up now.
Do you not know your name is Jonathan? John? You know, John the Baptist was Jesus Christ's cousin. You know
See this?
Your name is to begin with?
See this?
No. I don't think you know. Do you not know your name is Jonathan? John?
Listen.
You know, John the Baptist?
This is recent. This is recent in the hot tub.
Your name is to begin with?
Right?
No.
This is recent.
No.
That's the recent one in the hot tub, right? And this is what she was previously saying.
Bible, It's his story about
I'm
Jonathan.
great. How are
We
you?
call him John. It's about Blue. And he was so popping, right? He got the crowd, he got the platform, he got the power, he got all this shit. But when he met Jesus, and you know Jesus' name is Rock too, right? In the Bible. My name is Rock. His name is John. So Jesus needed to meet John, right? Like he had to
Oh,
go,
y'all gotta
like,
go over to
go
YouTube.
meet John. Like, go find John. So when Jesus found John, nigga, John was popping. John was different. John was authentic. John had talent. John was just that nigga in his own way, in his own
Or
platform.
click
When
the link in the bio.
I met him with 7 million followers, 7.7. He was different. He got a lot of power, a lot of what's that called? Like, he the king of LA. So Jesus was like, all right, God, you feel me? Long story short, he found John, but God told him who John was. Jonathan. Like, all right, Jonathan is that nigga for real. When he see you, he gonna know the past, whatever you got going on, down to you, because he got a decrease for you to increase. So
Now, let's stop there. She's saying that, he's got a decrease for you to increase, right? But this is why I say let's take a deeper look, right? Because in the time of the biblical text, they tell you about a time that, according to Egyptian mythology, so on and so forth, Zechariah Stitchin, Sumerian texts, all these different books, they tell you the time that thought runs wild. They tell you a time where your thought is going to run wild, right? We don't look at it because we see thought as THOTH, but if you're looking at it, it's a play on words. It's the spell that's in the word, right? So everything that's taking place is taking place right now, right? Everything that is, always was, always will be. It's taking place right now, right? Put yourself into, right? But this is globally, this is taking place, right? Globally, this is taking place, right? But you will have to understand what's taking place with the, reptilians and all of this stuff that they say is connected to conspiracy theories. And, we can't talk about it and so on and so forth. So we really blinded to a lot of this, right? But what's taking place is inner root races, right? These are inner root races, right? And these things cycle throughout timelines, but they're in different dimensional fields of the body, of the vessel. And sometimes, occasionally, you can see the appearance of these different root races, whether, of the good variety or the negative, right? So this is where like the whole cognitive distancing come in at, all of this separation that we're going through, right? The things that they putting us through right now, in social media. Like this is what's happening right now, right? But like I say, like this goes into, spirituality, core spirituality, understanding all of this stuff that's happening right now. But to understand, Chrisean and what's taking place with Chrisean, you have to go into the imposter spirit, right? The imposter spirit is the false prophet, the false parent, the false persona that you think is you just sent me a text. Okay. Mhm. Yes, definitely playing with God. So you have to get into the false spirit. A lot of people don't want to dig this deep into it, but if you hear somebody speaking the way that she's speaking, right, you have to realize what's happening, right? And I want to play this. I'm going to play it on my YouTube so they can hear it over there. Tell me if you guys hear this. How is my tools empty?
Many unconscious human beings are totally unaware they are carrying dead energy, displaced entities, negative alien implants, unaware that they are soul disconnected and mind controlled to limit further consciousness expansion. In other terms, this is enslavement of the person without their consent. This is a form of possession and is the servitude or bondage to the impostor spirit. An impostor spirit can be Luciferian or satanic spirits.
Oh, my
This
fault,
is
my
how
fault.
spiritual energetic
Hold
enslavement
on,
is
let me see.
manifested.
You gotta hit the button
If this
again.
persists, combined with continued destructive behavior to the self and others that are repeated as life patterns, the person becomes sucked into a density of painfully low self-esteem, phobias, fears, and addictions. Most of the time that will include layers of astral debris, displaced entities, impersonal elemental forces, and sometimes includes full demonic.
No, you was not.
Being possessed does not generally mean you are levitating off the bed or acting demonic. There is absolutely no shame or guilt applied to this state unless the suffering person applies it from their own state of fragmented confusion. It is through the possession of one's body of which the suffering and pain is greatly increased, until this possession is removed and cleared from your person. There are a million different variations of possession possible. However, the only possibility to evict these possessions is to get clear within yourself, and learn that you have the power to heal yourself and claim your energetic sovereignty and freedom. GSF behavior. When one learns to create the space inside to communicate clearly and embody one's spiritual source through
We're
cultivation
live.
of actions,
I'm live on
one can
YouTube.
begin the road to personal freedom and permanent release of suffering.
I'm live on YouTube right now. I've been live on YouTube for, where's that timer at? Should tell me a time somewhere. Oh, okay. I got. Okay, it was probably one of those songs that we made up, that we put together. But yeah, I want to go into the depths of it because this is what you see is the people who read the biblical text, they might call it blasphemous, right? The Muslims might call it a jinn, right? You might call it Jezebel, you might call it Lilith, all these different things, right? It's because the spiritual fight that's taking place, right? This spiritual delivery, this false implant, right, of this energy that is inside of her, right? Blasphemous, right? It's an energy that's inside of her, right? And when she talk about these things, what she don't talk about is the 72 demons of the soul of man. Is what I keep on trying to explain people about. But TikTok, y'all have to make sure y'all go over to YouTube because TikTok don't let me talk about it. YouTube partly let me talk about it. So I talk about it over on YouTube more than I would talk about it over here. But and you can hear what's being said over there as supposed to be over here. But these are the things that you have to have the discernment for. These are the things that you have to be on the lookout for. You know, when you see jealous spirits, when you see pride, you know, these are the things that is going to show up. And you're going to know that they're part of the 72 demons of the soul of man. You're going to know that it's a representation of, through the action of the persona or the person that you're dealing with. In this case, it is Chrisean, right? So when you see like the lust, the jealous, the envy, the greed, the gluttony, the waste, you know, the laziness, the discouragement, when you see this, right, you have to know that you are dealing with one of the energies that was given to one of the fallen angels. I right now you have to realize the time that we are in. You know, we are in a different time right now. So you have to realize the time that we're in.
Second-class fallen and third-class fallen angelics. These are their most common names, but they have many, as they are collective entities and travel as a pack. These are the main houses of ego that are used as dark portal possession by these fallen angelic and dark galactic hierarchies. Satan/Moloch, anger/wrath. Lucifer, pride/entitlement Leviathan, envy, jealousy, covet. Belial/Baal, liar/corrupt. Mammon, greed/avarice. Asmodee/Baphomet, lust/addiction.
Now, see,
gluttony/waste.
when you say
Belphegor, laziness/discouragement.
Now tell me you don't see lust/addiction when it comes to Chrisean. Tell me you don't see these things. When you hear them right now and you're learning them right now, you might not really, because they're names that we were told not to look up, not to look into, so on and so forth. But when you hear the things that they come with, right, then you start to realize, like, oh, okay, because now you got to take it to that level now. If she's feeling like she's John, or she's feeling like, uh Blueface is John from the Bible, John the Baptist from the Bible, she's talking about she's the Rock and all of this other stuff. Now you got to look into the depths. Now you got to look into, the mind, the spirit of this person. So now you got to look into the depths of this person to say, what will put her in that mindset? Why is she thinking like that? Is there multiple dimensions laid on top of each other? Is she remembering her past life? Is this part of the Kundalini? Is this part of the ascension process? Is this part of, right? So now you got to start looking into that stuff. Like, hold on, you got to start looking into that now. Hold on, she's talking like this. So that's why I say go back to what she said before we read this part again. Right? Go back to what she said. Right? She's talking about the Bible. She's talking about the biblical text.
So
listen,
Jesus needed to meet John, right? Like he had to. God was like, go meet John. Like, go find John. So when Jesus found John, nigga, John was popping. John was different. John was authentic. John had talent. John was just that nigga in his own way, in his own platform. When I met Blue, I met him with 7 million followers, 7.7. He was different. He got a lot of power, a lot of, what's that called? Like, he the king of LA. So Jesus was like, all right, God, you feel me? Long story short, he found John.
Yeah, Blue just want the
God
bread.
told him who John was. Jonathan. Like, all right, Jonathan is that nigga for real. When he see you, he gonna know the past, whatever he got going on, down to you, because he got to decrease for you to increase. So that's what Jesus got the memo before, and they called Jesus Rock, R-O-C-K. You hear me? So.
Oh, you can't hear it. It's on YouTube.
I've been traveling, right? I've been overboard.
Yeah, it's playing on.
A lot of shit going on. He just had a kid.
I don't know what.
What's his kid?
I don't know what your phone is capable of.
I think it's
if you got YouTube Premium, you probably can open up the YouTube
So long story short,
and hear the YouTube.
He has this. He's doing that. He's doing this. But it's not one time I'm really like not making you pick me over people.
Mind you, she been said this, y'all. This is old right here. She been said this. This is old. So if she was thinking like this around the time Journey was born, or Journey was just young when then this is her mindset right here.
It's like he decided to fuck with me over everybody else. Whatever he had going on, over his management.
It's like she convinced herself this in her mind.
Kids, like, he don't even know why he fucked with me. I know why he fucked with me, because I'm reading this story in the Bible, bro. So basically, Rock meet John, which is Jesus.
See, Rock is Jesus. John the Baptist. She's Jesus. He's
like, damn. Okay, cool. This is my time to retire for real.
He don't know why he don't know. Oh, she knows why he rocks with her. He don't know, right? So she's saying, only I know why he rock with me. He don't even know why he rock with me, how he rock with me. And then, like, to say, like, that's not her mindset. If we look into this one, see, look, this is what she just now said recently, right? This is recent what she's telling him. Listen.
You know, John the Baptist was Jesus Christ's cousin. You know how deep your name is to begin with? Name. No. I don't think you know. Do you not know?
Do you see that? So, you have the previous one where she's saying what she's saying. No, you can't hear it. You have to go over to YouTube to hear it, because it's on the PC. So you have to go over to YouTube to hear it if you want to be a part of that part of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. You got to go over it, because they won't let me play a lot of this stuff over here on TikTok. So I could play some of it on YouTube and explain a lot more on YouTube than I can on TikTok. So you got to go over to the YouTube and follow the YouTube page. Yeah, Blueface might be in it for the money, right? But she convinced herself something else in her head. She convinced herself something else in her head. And this is why you got to be careful and you got to really, really know the text. Really, really read the text. Hold on, let me play this part.
Yeah, she claims she a prophet, so yeah, Bible thumper.
Listen to what it's saying. I'm about to play it.
Be aware of subclass satanic hierarchies of lower spirits. Keep an eye out for spirits of anger, rage, hate, unforgiveness, etc., when dealing with situations or people that have been involved in abuse and are experiencing extremely hurt-based trauma. These parts of our energy split off, and many times a type of spirit will be holding onto the piece of soul fragment. These types of parasitic spirits may need to be driven out. Some common types of negative spirits that are classified as the spirits of bondage include a spirit of fear, guilt, or shame, a spirit of self-hatred, a spirit of insecurity and lack of safety, a spirit of any number of addictions, drugs, alcohol, etc., a spirit of the fear of death, a spirit of being a servant of corruption, a spirit of compulsive iniquity, spirit of the Antichrist, which is the ultimate narcissism or selfishness, spirit of bondage, Romans 8 verse 15, spirit of divination, Ezekiel 21 verse 21, spirit of death, dumb and deaf spirit, Mark 9 verse 25, spirit of error, 1 JN 4:6.
It's
Familiar
giving you
spirit, LV 2027.
all the reference markers you need to
Spirit
know.
of fear, 2 TM 1:7. Spirit of haughtiness, PRY 16:18-19. Spirit of heaviness, ISA 61:3. Spirit of infirmity, LK 13:11. Spirit of jealousy, NM 5:14. Lying spirit, 2 CHR 18:22. Perverse spirit, ISA 19:14. Seducing spirits, 1 TM 4:1. Spirit of glamour or whoredoms, Hosea 4 verse 12, and 5:4. Each of these types of negative spirits has a number of specialists. For instance, the spirits of glamour contain spirits which can specialize in the following: a spirit of unfaithfulness and betrayal, a spirit of prostitution, whether spirit, soul, or body, a spirit of the love of money, a spirit of idolatry, material worshipping, a spirit of chronic dissatisfaction, a spirit of sexual energy abuses, a spirit of gluttony. A demonic home is a fleshly environment by which gives it access and ability to live in a person. This is not a physical home, but a spiritual home. A root of bitterness, for example, will create an environment or place in that person's life by which demonic spirits can enter and dwell among. See 72 Hierarchies on Fallen Angelics for more listings.
Now, I want you guys to think about this. Everything that you just heard, you can see operating in Chrisean. You can see it operating in Chrisean. Let's think about it. The spirit of unfaithfulness and betrayal, right? The story with Ronnie, the story with Ann, the story with Geronimo, right? You can see that with her, right? Setting Blueface up, trying to set Lemmy up, trying to set Whack 100 up, so on and so forth. That's the spirit of betrayal right there, right? The spirit of selling the cootie, or, and that comes whether it be spirit, soul, or body. That's mind, soul, body. That comes with everything, right? That prostitution thing, that word right there, right? So you can see that. You can see that in her, right? The spirit of the love of money. You can see her operation. You can see Blueface operation. You can see Nevaeh's operation. You can see that operating within the circus right now. One's in the chat on YouTube if you understand what I'm saying right now, or what is being perceived to you right now, because I want you to know the world that we in right now. I want you to have clarity. I want you to have discernment, right? I'm not making this up. I'm taking you to a reference point so you can deeply understand it. So you won't just say, oh, he's just over there making stuff up, right? I want you to look at the list and then apply it to the character that you're seeing. I want you to always come back to this list and then apply it to the people that you see in this world so you can see what entity might be operating them or what entities might be operating them, right? Is this is why we have to have, discernment, spiritual discernment. This is why we have to have a greater level of knowledge and understanding put out there, because a lot of our youth is going to fall victim to these monsters and demons that are in the world, right? And they call themselves the fallen angelic, but really something is not going, something is wrong, something is not right. Ronnie tried to point it out. He said the false prophets, right? I don't know if he had the ability or the time to look it up to actually explain to y'all what he was trying to point out. But I feel like, since he's no longer here, then the torch must be passed to somebody to point out these, entities, these false prophets, and try to better help us understand it and better help us around it, because it's showing right now. You got to think she didn't become holy hands until how long after he was gone? So therefore, he was trying to tell us something. He might not have been able to articulate it. He might not have been able to tell us exactly what it was in detail, because maybe he was, going through a lot of stuff. When you're down here surviving and trying to live and so on and so forth, you get sidetracked. You might not have the words to explain it to us or other people, but it's in your mind and you know what you're seeing. But if you try to explain it, it makes you sound crazy. It makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. It makes you, but then as you see and time unfolds and you start seeing and hearing the mind of some of these individuals, right? Because that's what it is. It's a piece of their mind. You got to get a piece of their mind and you put it together through that. You got to think about it. Chrisean is saying that she is living this story out in this book. And when you read the Bible does make you feel like you're a part of it. I promise you. When I read the Bible, I felt like I was a part of it. When I read Joseph and read about the 13 siblings that was had in the family of Israel and so on and so forth, and him being sent away, however that took place, I felt like that too. When I was the only one in foster care out of all of my siblings, I'm like, dang, this is a biblical story right here. I probably was 13 years old reading the book, growing up or whatever. And I was having this feeling like I was a part of that book because I was reading it, But somehow you got to separate it in your mind from what's reality and what's that book. Now, somehow that book has blended into Chrisean's reality to where as though she believes that she's living out that book, that she is living that book and going through the walk, hence the Jerusalem trip, hence the, going over there to experience the walk of Christ and wanting to go to Jerusalem and so on and so forth. That nature is something that's going on in the mind, right? In this reality, something else is happening where she is trying to rewrite the history that is Chrisean Wright, Rock, Destiny Swap, whatever you want to call it, all of these different, things that might get in her way. There's no telling what she might do. Her family is saying they're afraid of what she might do if they try to push the Mario button on the Help Junior thing. Everybody is playing scared around her, like they're, in fearful of what she's capable of. And, and she's playing, she has the whole internet fooled, they say, with this manipulation that she's doing, this pretty face with the body of a 13-year-old boy. I just can't get over that y'all really fell for this persona of a person that is clearly operating on, negative energy, and you can see the lies. That's where the betrayal comes in. She's even betraying her fans. She's betraying her fans by giving them false hope. It's the spirit of betrayal. She's literally building them up like, I'm never going to see Blueface again. I'm doing right. I'm never going to do this again. And then what happened? Betray them the following weekend, right? Build y'all up to make y'all think she's going in the right direction and then betray you. You see it happening. You know what I mean? You see it happening. You might not want to admit it, but you see it happening, her love for money. She's rewriting this story in her mind. the spirit of adultery. You see her, the material worship. You see her with everything that she do, everything that she materialize. She's always trying to, um, look at her life. Oh, I'm gonna be in a mansion. Always trying to make it seem like she's living above everyone else. She's up here, everyone else is down here, right? The spirit of chronic dissatisfaction is a big one. This is why she can't never be satisfied with the cameraman, with the camera view, with the trip. You see, every time she goes somewhere, it's always a complaint. Oh, y'all trying to get us. Oh, they're charging us too much for this. They're doing this. You know what I'm saying? So you can constantly see that in everything that she's doing. So and then the spirit of the S energy abuse, you can see that, you could definitely see that taking place. And then it's the spirit of gluttony. You see that taking place also with how she eats when she turns into Chris Animal and she's eating with her hands, and she keeps on going to these crab, eating lobster, stuff like that. These are low or bottom, these are bottom feeders. These are things that we wasn't supposed to eat according to the biblical text that she says she goes by. And I know a lot of people are going to try to switch it up and say, well, according to the New Testament, we can eat whatever as long as we pray over it. That was the story of Peter, but that wasn't really the story of Peter. And if you get into it, you'll see that it wasn't really the story, because at that time it was considered unclean to eat with the Gentiles. And he was using that as a reference to say that was why he wanted to go eat with the Gentiles. But we can get into that later. Now, when you look at Chrisean, you might not understand exactly what you're seeing. You might not even know how to get this demon up off you. You see the manipulation that's taking place. You see how she's using these people. Even if you look at Quail and what he was willing to do, and everybody's like, she must have some level of control over people or something like that. Y'all looking at it, but maybe y'all don't know how strong, sacral energy is. Maybe y'all don't know how strong, a succubus or these energies are when they are pulling upon people or being manipulated in these different energies, so on and so forth. So, you have to realize like how these entities can play on us, whether you study the art of seduction, art of war, whatever you might be looking into to try to understand this world that we are living in. But you have to somehow you have to realize what it is that's taking place, right? When you see these entities and they're trying to manipulative, so on and so forth, you have to ward them away. I know a lot of times y'all, we say, you rebuke thee in the name of, whatever, however y'all look at it, whatever it is that y'all say. I'm pretty sure the Muslims have a saying. I'm pretty sure, everyone out there that is of a different religion or something has a saying in order to push back these different variations of uh, entities that will come in the form of people, right? But some people minds are not strong enough to fight these entities off. When you could, some people, like, how it's like you can't say no to them. How they say a vampire comes and it seems like they just whisper in your ear and convince you to do the shit that you don't want to do, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Like, this is that. Like, we're in a time where you're gonna have to start warding off the Chriseans, the Blue Faces, the Ray J's, the Orlando Browns, the ABs, the Deans, all these people that send this narcissistic energy, so on and so forth. You're gonna have to start warding them off, and we're gonna have to start, pointing them out, so we won't keep falling victim to them. Maybe speaking up, maybe gathering, maybe operating differently, because they're in a lot of different people, and you can see them in a lot of different people operating. The Queen Ops, the Grit Babies, the Talvins, the um Ashley Trevinos, the Breeze, the um you see them. You see them in high operation right now. Very high operation, you see them. Right? So You definitely want to pay attention to that. For the people that's on TikTok, make sure you go over to YouTube. The stuff that we're about to continue the conversation on cannot be heard on TikTok. So you got to go over to Ralph the Wise on YouTube. And you keep asking about the CPS, like you know what's going on with CPS. You keep on asking, is that a trick question? You don't know. Okay, you don't know. Let's put a song on.
I need to know, I just got to know.
Said the same thing.
It's time to know if he's mine. I got to know. There's not a man that God can't save.
I'm still a man from the grave.
I'm still a man from the grave.
Roll the stone from the cave.
I'm still a man from the grave. Yeah, you was running from me like you was dodging a bullet. Boo, you still on your red carpet. I wasn't trying to pull it. Our relationship was more than having relations, but you treated our bond like a passing vacation. To the public, I was just an agonist. 1,001 night stands, just yeah. You was telling the world that I said it for clout, that you wasn't my girl, call it reasonable doubt. I was only trying to stand on 10. No regrets for my son, I do it again and again. See, Junior looks a lot like me. Features, skin tone, and all that good raw energy. Oh, is he my son? Am I the one? All I wanted was to get the DNA test done, but you had your own intention, by all means your own convention. So my name you didn't mention, Blue the daddy, your invention.
My mama said walk in line,
stand up straight,
let the truth be mine.
The seed you sow and you shall reap. Open your eyes, don't sleep. There's not a man that God can't save.
I'm still a man from the grave.
I'm still a man from the grave.
I'm still a man from the grave.
Yeah, I'm still a man from the grave. How does it feel knowing that I'm gone? Do you even feel knowing how you did me wrong? Seems you trying to block me out your mind, but the guilty always speak. What's true won't be left behind. Victim of a woman's fucking scorn. I was there when he was born, not from his.
All right, so let's say that we did take it to this idea that Chrisean has in her mind, that we was living out the biblical days, that this was a biblical story, right? Then you have a lot of characters in this biblical story that's not going to make it, right? If we're living out this biblical story that's in Chrisean's head, then a lot of people are not going to make it, right? One, mainly Junior, two, mainly John, right? I think the only one that plays, or the only one that actually makes it in this story is her, because she's writing it. So the only one that can actually keeps the story going is the narrative, the narrator, right? So she's the narrator of this story. Now she has what she believes to be Christ, which is Junior, Jesus. And now she has John, right? And she's thinking about taking 13 or 12 other people plus herself over to the Holy Lands, to Jerusalem, to take this walk or this journey, right? She wants to take 12 other people. right? Petey, John the Baptist. You see the names, right? She wants to take Petey, John the Baptist, probably her other brother Joseph, right? She's taking all these people that has biblical names to the holy hand, to the holy land, to walk the path of Christ. For she thinks she is Christ. Right? Now I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to see like, how this ends. Like was Quran her Judas? Like, is that what she trying to say? Like what in her mind, put together this story, and then the playing out of how she's playing it out with the characters that's involved, Quran, Cain being his last name, thus far being the last of his bloodline, that's a Cain bloodline, right? And she's, going around bragging about taking out the last of the Cain bloodline, so on and so forth, or possibly holding the last of the Cain bloodline hostage, however you want to look at it. I don't really know the depths of this story. And then, you have the manipulation of the Jezebel spirit. She's talking about she's listening to her witnesses and she's got witnesses. That's very weird to me. You get into Alice and Crawley or these different stories. I don't know how deep y'all want to go into it, but let's listen. If you go by the biblical text, she can make up any storyline she want to justify her madness at this point.
We're on this earth as a child of God. Let me just talk. On this earth as a child of God, everybody has people assigned to them. Like, I was assigned to Blue and he's assigned to me, type of shit. That's how I really feel. To my dreams be so like, I know. Okay, if y'all know the Bible, it's this story about John.
I need to take a nap.
We call him John. It's about Blue. And
we're going live again tonight.
Right? He got the crowd. He got the platform. He got the power. He got all this shit. But when he met Jesus, and Jesus' name is Rock too, right? In the Bible. My name is Rock. His name is John. So Jesus needed to meet John, right? Like he had to. God was like, go meet John. Like, go find John. So when Jesus found John, nigga, John was popping. John was different. John was authentic. John had talent. John was just that nigga in his own way, in his own platform. When I met Blue, I met him with 7 million followers, 7.7. He was different. He got a lot of power, a lot of what's that called? Like, he the king of LA. So Jesus was like, all right, guys.
You hear it, right? You hear what she's saying, right?
Jonathan, like, all right, Jonathan is that nigga for real. When he see you, he gonna know the past, whatever he got going on, down to you, because he got a decrease for you to increase. So that's what Jesus got the memo before, and they called Jesus Rock, R-O-C-K. You hear me? So I'm gonna be a buck. I've been traveling, right? I've been overbooked. A lot of shit going on. He just had a kid. What's his kid name? Probably Journey. I think it's Journey. It's beautiful. So long story short, he has a kid. He has this. He's doing that. He's doing this. But it's not one time I'm really like, not making you pick me over people. I'm not making you. It's like he decided to fuck with me over everybody else. Whatever he had going on, over his management, over his family, his baby mothers, kids, like, he don't even know why he fucked with me. I know why he fucked with me because I'm reading this story in the Bible, bro. So basically, Rock meet John, which is Jesus. So John, like, when he meets Jesus, he's like, damn, okay, cool. This is my time to retire for real. Long story short, Blue John, I'm Rock, which is Jesus.
Can y'all make it make sense? Sees Jesus, which is rock. Sorry, I had something in my teeth. I'm just saying, in this world, you better have some spiritual guidance going on with you. You better have somebody that can cruise you through this. You better have somebody that knows some stuff.
Reading writes, all fallen angelic entities and spirits of servitude involved in this mind control program of deception and Satanism are delivered and released of bondage through my God-given rights. I have the right to self-determine and command my space in cosmic sovereign law. I have the right to own my sanity and to choose wholeness. I have the right to terminate. Ask beloved God's Spirit to heal any wounds, trauma, pain, suffering in my heart, body, mind and spirit, to completely remove any residue of which is used as an open demonic portal into my body. Beloved Holy Spirits, please reveal to me now any information I am required to be made aware of to participate in my spiritual healing fully. I ask all memories I require to heal be revealed to me now, and so that I may address them
This
fully.
is
I ask
hold
beloved
on.
God.
Sorry. This is to ward off those of the entities that are not of you. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to know some stuff, in order to ward off the entities that's not of you, the entities that's not of Christ. Right now, there's a lot of things that's revealing themselves to us in this physical world. Right? There's a lot of things that's revealing themselves to us in this physical world. I'm just trying to give y'all a deeper understanding or bring it to you as best as I can. In these houses of ego that, you see Chrisean is in operating of, it's laziness, envy, wrath, pride, gluttony, greed, lust. Right? So these are the houses that she's feeding inside of her vessel. These are the houses that she's feeding inside of her vessel. So the only thing that they can come out of this is, a lower vibrational satanic being that's going to create a destructive path. That's it. That's why you see everything that she's got going on. You see destruction follows. Everything that she pray over, everything that she touches, destruction follows. Some people might call it a Shiva demon.
We must be able to identify destructive patterns, ego fear, from healthy patterns, spiritual love, in order to make an informed choice and have personal discernment. Otherwise, we are not discerning in the quality or level of information we are being exposed to, and allow ourselves to be externally influenced by charismatic abusers, predators, manipulators, liars, and psychopaths. It is important to be able to discern and identify abusers, liars, predators, and sociopaths as people traumatized by terrible pain, soul fragmentation, and spiritual disconnection. Why would we trust resources and give value to the words spoken in the skewed theories of a person/group/family member/organization who is a repeated abuser, liar, manipulator, or predator? This is akin to returning to the same church to listen to sermons where the priest is known to molest altar boys. We have to understand they are very sick, in pain, and deeply disturbed.
Come on. Shiva is a destroyer demon. Come on. Who you fooling? Shiva is a destroyer demon, no matter how you look at it. You might could look at some of her good qualities, but she's a destroyer demon. Go look it up. You can look it up right now. Then come back and tell me. I'm not saying nothing wrong. I'm telling you the attributes of these people. Now you could take the name and you can try to make it look like just because she's a beautiful goddess that's all she comes with. But go look at the details or the attributes that comes with her. Look up the attributes. You look it up. You're the one that's sitting here being combative. You look it up. I'm sitting here and I'm the one that's sitting here trying to bring understanding. I'm sitting here, the one that's hosting a live, trying to bring understanding to, these entities that exist within inside the flesh of mankind, how we build them up in the house of ego, so on and so forth. But you have to realize what energies. And I'm very cautious when it comes to speaking of these different variations of things, right? Very cautious. But that's the thing right there. Like fear. You see how you're trying to place the fear back into someone, right? That's the fear. Fear builds these demonic houses. Fear builds these demonic houses. And everybody got a different spell in the word that they try to use to bring fear back into the equation, right? With you trying to say, be careful, watch what you say, hold on, don't go too far, right? That's a form of replacing the fear back there to govern someone, right? There's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? To think that we have to fear this knowledge, so on and so forth. No, all you have to do is be enlightened with it, right? I'm just trying to bring in light to your mental. That's it. I'm just trying to enlighten your mental so you can have knowledge and discernment of the world that we're actually in. You hear these people talking like this, saying that they are the biblical Christ and they are walking this path of Christ and they're going through the same thing that's going through in this book, and other people don't know that they're going through it because they're not reading the book, and she knows that she's going through it because she's reading the book, and she already got a Peter and a Paul and a John involved. And she already put together the book. She already got Petey, her brother, right? She probably got a Paul somewhere, you know. She got Joseph, the other brother, right? She already got her disciples that she's bringing along for the journey that she's going through. She rewrote the book in her mind. Huh?
The impostors attempt to increase the bondage loops of the spirits of fear in the minds of people who are building demonic houses within their consciousness from their own mind and fear-based thought forms. When the body, mind, and
What are
heart
you
are
talking
corrupted by
about? Are you
repeated
okay?
fear-based thoughts, the internal structure to house
Are you
these
okay?
energies, these qualities of demonic spirits, will
You
reside
need
in
a
the mind
virtual
and
hug?
consciousness body. These lower quality spirits manifest tremendous pain and suffering, and are also called satanic or Luciferian forces. In severe cases of repeated destructive spiritual behavior, this can evolve to
Why
a
are you
thought-filled
yelling?
possession around a certain theme,
Why
such
are
as
you all
addiction.
capsing in the comment
The
section?
controllers know that in order to maintain a system of consciousness slavery, they must devise a control-based society in which people will obey power structures without the ability to question authority or ensure accountability of actions. When people believe in the fear-based programming set up as belief systems in the 3D world, they easily act as the border guards of the matrix. They are willing to self-enforce unethical laws on others, no matter how corrupt or tyrannical the society. The most important tool for any
All right,
controller
come
being that
on. Bring
desires
it
to have
in.
total power over
You
others
want a
in order to
hug?
steal global
Come on.
resources is to
Bring
manipulate
it in.
fear in the minds of people.
Come on.
Whether that narrative of fear is real or imagined is of no consequence, as the mass perception of fear is the only thing
Virtual
that
hug in the
matters.
comment section.
Through the promotion of the mass perception of fear, a controller may conquer nations, conquer territories, and conquer an entire planet. We must see the fear-based programming operating in the global scape and understand how it is used in the macrocosm for producing human slavery, in order to free ourselves of the personal fears that make us suffer, building demonic houses that block our highest spiritual expression. 2.
I didn't go crazy. You went crazy. You're crazy now. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. So you can see that this is GSF behavior, right? She's on a destructive path, right? She's on a destructive pattern. You can see this, right? False realities of delusions, carelessness, deceitful, emotional fractioning. This is all the things that you can see in this person right now, right? So I want you to understand exactly what you're watching Chrisean go through and why she's playing and manipulating the reality right now.
What are spiritually abusive behaviors, aka archontic deception, AD, behaviors? To improve peace in a largely dysfunctional world, We may require attitudinal behavior guidelines which help us to overcome the insanity of the archontic deception and their anti-life forces which abuse its mechanism. These behaviors and attitudes are propagated by the controllers to create bondage and enslavement of the human race and thus the planet. To understand the polarity of the world of forces on Earth and identify how satanic force methods are used every day to destroy the feeling heart and soul of human beings, let's review both sides of spiritually healthy behaviors, GSF, and spiritually abusive behaviors, AD. Spiritually healthy behaviors naturally connect one with God's source and Christ and are God-sovereign free or GSF behaviors.
These are the good
Spiritually
behaviors.
abusive behaviors disconnect you from God and Christ and are promoted in the archontic deception or
These
AD
are
behaviors.
the abusive
The goal
behaviors.
with the below discernment guideline is to identify and locate these spiritually abusive AD behaviors in yourself, others, and in any external organization of which you participate and to transform them through practicing GSF behaviors. All decisions one is able to make from an informed position by identifying AD behaviors will increase personal discernment and energetic resonance of GSF in one's life. The only thing any person can change is themselves through their heart responses and behaviors. Change starts within.
See?
1.
Now
Change.
you can feel this stuff
Identify
taking
the
place.
archontic deception, AD, behavior
One
and
second.
apply the GSF behavior antidote to transform negativity into spiritually healthy behaviors.
So this is where we come in, like where you have to take in these energies and recognize these behaviors inside of you and then transfer into the God-like notion of it. So you have to use its own system against it. So if it's the behavior of this, then you have to use the spirit of Christ, right? If it's the behavior of narcissism, then this is what you combat it with, right? You practice duality with these things. But if you recognize it inside yourself, then you can recognize it inside of other people or rising up in other people, so to speak. Right. So the only way is you have to recognize it inside yourself first, and then you can also recognize it inside of other people too. So when these spirits start to, take, take over other people or rise up in other people, you can recognize these spirits, right? So let's look at some of the spirits and look at some of the antidotes for them. So you got to know the antidotes for these behaviors. All right. So that way you can know what tool to use to combat them.
Antidote to AD behaviors. The antidote to AD behaviors is living in the law of one and practicing the God-sovereign free behavior, GSF. 1. Empathy and compassion. 2. Mental openness. 3. Emotional stability. 4. Responsibility. 5. Honesty. 6. Sovereignty. 7. Reality assessment. 8. Unified cooperation. Behaviors discernment guideline. Let's understand more about the AD behaviors and the NAA controller strategies used to weaken virtues and GSF behavior, which allows for the spirits of Christ to thrive in the human race. AD, disassociation and narcissism. We are disconnected from life through repeated traumas and abuse, which creates split personalities that develop defense mechanisms and perversions to cope. The rampant defense mechanism caused from soul heart damage is ego narcissism. Dissociative behaviors cultivate sociopaths and psychopaths, many of which replicate feelings of expression because they can no longer feel from spiritual disconnection. This weakness allows for easy satanic binding and manipulation. There is no care about life, causing pain, and killing is done with methodical delight or heartless efficiency. AD, mental rigidity. We are conformed to an acceptable consensus for reality through power elite use of controlled scientific/academic means which will ridicule, persecute, crucify, and potentially kill a person that dare threaten their system of control, belief, money or power. Through this enforced intimidation program, a human may mimic its oppressors and victimizers. Mental rigidity produces heart and intuitive sensory disconnection. AD, emotional fracturing.
Now we're going to break down like this persona but also want you to realize like the people that are in this world, the possessions that's taking in place, like the fragments of emotions that you see going on, the pain state, the pain body, the carelessness, the deception, the reality of delusion, all of these things you can see taking place inside of Chrisean right now. There's
In this
not a
painful
thing that
state,
you
we
heard
live as a
that
slave to
doesn't
our
fit
unspeakable
Chrisean.
feelings and desires that control our actions and behaviors as if being whiplashed by a screaming banshee. We have little instinctual control over our emotional state, which leads to instant reactions of hysteria, dramas, accusations, and betrayals in our relationships. We are very unhappy if we do not get instant gratification and are generally chronically self-entitled. The constant emotional roller coaster of internal anxiety leads us to self-soothe, where addictions are used to calm the nervous system or escape the painful reality. All addictions lead to satanic manipulation or possessions. Emotional fracturing is soul fracturing. AD, carelessness. We are selective in our commitments, only doing the least required without care, or responsible only to that which has self-serving motivations that give reward. We have little responsibility to how others may feel or how we impact others because we are negligent and careless of anyone's feelings. We emit energetic garbage or litter the environment without a second thought. Not knowing our boundaries or limits, we spew emotional debris or hubris on others at will. AD, deceitful. Without care for others' emotions and driven by instinctual drives, one is deceitful and able to lie easily in order to manipulate, trick, and control others to get what they want. Lies of omission or spin doctoring words, using doublespeak or outright lies in order to project a false reality to get whatever the selfish motivation or job required done. Ego defense mechanisms in a deceitful person give them self-justification to lie, as they are either self-righteous or serving a cause where everyone lies. This is delusional behavior. This is the ultimate corruption and destruction of life force and is the demon seed of Satanism. AD, dependence. To instigate self-doubt and cultivate ignorance is to create dependence on some external authority through methods involving coercion, spiritual oppression, suppression, poverty, or extreme duress on the person or group. Dependence is usually to steal, energetic, resources from another without them knowing, and to keep control over them through ignorance and oppression. Co-dependence issues always create vampiric energy cords between the parties involved. AD, false reality delusions. The projected sense of external reality
False
formed by
reality
personal
delusions.
misconception of disinformation, programming, religions, and deceptions mixed with half-truths pumped out into the media, educational, and social outlets for mass consumption. Through promoting lies and ignorance, not telling the true story, public perception can be controlled to meet the various AD agendas by controlling factions. As a result, most humans live in a false reality mired in self-delusions based upon the environmental shaping and its programming.
You see that? It's all about the programming. Either she programmed herself for this or she's being programmed for this. Either way, something ain't right. Either way, something ain't right. You watch her, she easily lies to manipulate, right? These are some important things that you might need to know in order, to recognize some of these personas, like the constant lies, so on and so forth. And Blueface is in that same energy. AD, Queen Ops. You see a
It's
multitude of them
important to be able
operating
to
like this.
identify abusers, liars, predators, and psychopaths as people traumatized by terrible pain, soul fragmentation, and spiritual disconnection. When people are utterly controlled by negative ego dysfunction and have no impulse control, and they live in self-deception. A person who is deceiving themselves has no other alternative but to deceive others because they have little to no clarity. As we build better and practical ways of discerning trustworthiness and competency, we also gain confidence to build stronger intuition in such matters, where the checklist is not required. As is made clear here in these checklists, the more
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, the internet is undefeated. So they can
more
keep on
severe
giving
the
it.
negative ego dysfunction, the more potentially disconnected the person is from their heart, intuition, self-awareness, and spiritual source. This immediately gives one a gauge to measure what level a person can be trusted, no matter what words they may be speaking. In the severe stages of narcissism and psychopathy, the veneer of seduction, charisma, and mimicry of empathic reactions that are geared for manipulation to serve one's egocentric needs, and can be seen much more clearly over time. It is very common for people that base their leadership or authority on controlling behaviors and tyrannical principles, to aggressively manipulate others by creating a facade of charisma from mimicking what they have found people want to hear from their wounded ego parts. See leadership versus tyranny. Many people do not want to hear or know the truth. They want to be lulled to sleep by fantasy delusions. Megalomaniacs that thrive on taking power and having control over others are master manipulators of telling people lies based on what they want to hear or believe. This is the tough part. We have to ask if we are able to seek the honest factual truth of behavioral interactions, or have people feed us lies that are flattering or comfortable for our wounded ego parts. Otherwise, we reinforce the delusion in the person/circumstance and we become enablers, allowing them to continue to perpetrate deceptions in the group through their own self-deception. Promoting and enabling delusions leads to pathological thinking and spreads a fabricated reality through false impressions. This false impression is the spin on perceptions that are designed to serve the agenda of the ego, narcissistic or psychopath. Again, it is important to be able to identify abusers, liars, predators, and psychopaths as people traumatized by terrible pain, soul fragmentation, and spiritual disconnection. When people are utterly controlled by negative ego dysfunction and have no impulse control and they live in self-deception. A person who is deceiving themselves has no other alternative but to deceive others because they have little to no clarity. Why would we trust resources and give value to the words spoken in the skewed theories of a person/group/family member/organization that is repeatedly demonstrated as a massive ego with untrustworthy behaviors that include
And that is
lying and are
Chrisean.
aggressive, predatorial, or deceptive?
That is Chrisean in a lump shell. You guys know what it is, right? Later on, we're going to break down this Ray J and fight.
I was torn, the world is wondering, did you even mourn? Soft disclosure, I didn't want exposure. Not a fucking game, I didn't need the fucking fame. I only wanted what is fair, and not to live a lie. I was only acting, don't care. This shit makes the hardest nigga cry. See, I'm my mama's only boy. Now they taking the joy with the devious ploy. A family tree they destroy. Oh my boy,
said walk in light.
Stand up straight.
Let the truth be mine.
The seed you sow and you shall reap. Open your eyes, don't sleep. There's not a man that God can't save.
I'm still a man from the grave.
I'm still a man from the grave. I'm still
Make sure y'all get y'all saved Junior first.
I'm still a
If
man.
nobody told you
from the
today,
grave.
let me be the first, not the last, to tell you that I love you.
What you gonna say?
Right? Remember, one image of oneself should be greater than reality. Make sure y'all check out the Atlas store. Go order something. Support however you can support. In my link tree, there is a petition in order to try to get a bill passed so we can stop some of this exploitation of the youth. Get our youth a little bit more rights, as far as some of these babies and everything that's going on online. People are now using their kids as stability or selling their kids for stability. We have to take this fight serious. We have to multiply ourselves on multiple platforms and speak about this. That is true. Make sure y'all join the Discord if y'all want to be a part of the fight. Later on in the Discord, we'll play something in the Discord for people to watch in the Discord. Or after this, I might play something in the Discord because I'm going to take at least a 2-hour nap. And then we'll go live again tonight. We'll try to go live 2 times a day over here, just like 2 times a day on TikTok. And we're just going to inform more people and bring more knowledge to this whole situation, the reality that we living in, and try to blend the ascension process in with it, or the knowledge from the ascension process, and grow and build together. If you like it, become a member, subscribe to the page. If not, the decision is ultimately up to yours. Support who it is that you feel as though is on the same vibrational frequency. Who you cast your lot with is who you cast your lot with. Make sure y'all go download this song, Still a Man from the Grave. Hey, love and light to everybody. I just, right now, my energy is kind of depleted, so I need to take a nap to, bring that back up, and then I can give you guys a little bit more enthusiasm in the next live. Real question: How you woke as fuck, but use AI? I only use the AI to bring it to you guys, right? To try to help explain it to y'all. That's the only reason why I use the AI system to, bring you to read what it says, right? That's the only reason why I use the AI is to read what it says. I don't feel like doing all of that reading, right? But I just use the AI to try to help articulate it to people. I already know this stuff in my head, but it's hard trying to take what's in my head and explain it to humans using the spell that's in the word. So that's what you're actually watching. You're watching me try to get through the spell that's in the word to help articulate what it is that I'm trying to, show you guys, or however you want to look at it. So, this is how I chose to bring it to you. You might find somebody else that can bring it to you different. You might find somebody else that can articulate it differently for you. But I have found that, in this life, there's many different ways to try to articulate this knowledge or bring this knowledge to the public. But it's going to find you wherever you are. Like if you're in Christianity, if you're in the Muslim religion, if you're in the Jewish religion, Buddhist religion, wherever you are, this is going to meet you where you are. And I'm just trying to find as many different ways to articulate it or bring it to the light as possible. Some people might see this as a jihad and say this is a holy war going on with inside the multitude of mankind. Some people might look at this and say, we're going through a, dark night of the soul, however you look at it. So I'm just trying to find different ways to bring it to you and articulate it as, authentic as possible. And yes, with the help of AI, reading all of that stuff could be worrisome to the brain. So I allow AI to read it to you. So that way I'm not sitting here making a fool of myself, stumbling over words that I don't know how to pronounce. You're not laughing at the fact that I can or can't read, however you look at it. So the AI does a great job with reading it, as far as not as far as me not making a damn fool of myself trying to read it or fumble over the words and stuff, and then y'all getting a kick out of that. So that's the only thing I use the AI for, is to try to help interpret it, to bring it to you guys with the clearest understanding as possible. So I hope you don't mind that I use AI. I apologize. I know that a lot of you guys think that there's a war on AI, but AI is only as good as its programmer. And since humans program AI, then I guess it's human error in that too. So give a little bit of room for human mistake and human error, and just have the deepest levels of understanding for the knowledge that's being brought to you. And hopefully we can all have some discernment moving forward in this world and avoid some of these lower vibrational entities that aim to send our youth into the wrong direction, because that's the ultimate message. Love and light to everybody, and I'll see you next time.